Are you ready to delve into the mysterious world of the symbiote? This dark space slime has no master other than itself and attaches to a host of its liking, providing vigor, super strength, and agility. However, despite its immense powers, a symbiote is not invincible and has a vulnerability to sound and fire. Symbiotes are not someone on a spree, just helping people out on a whim. They have a sinister side. They alter and adjust a host's personality and bring forth their deep, dark, hidden desires, which make them human but not humane. And yes, the most amazing of this lot has to be our star of the show, Mr. Venom. I think he's the OG symbiote and may sometimes prove to be more vicious than the likes of Carnage. So let's take this frenzied ride together, where this slimy dude has entwined itself with numerous hosts, each serving the slime's purpose. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Peter Parker. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies did an amazing job as far as the depiction of Venom was concerned. In Spider-Man 3, a meteorite crashed in Central Park and an out-of-this-world symbiote tagged along, which followed Peter back to his dwelling. Peter slept in his Spider-Man suit, but upon awakening, he found himself on top of the building. His costume changed to black and his powers enhanced, making him more robust, faster, and agile. For a friendly neighborhood Spidey, it was simply a new costume, but the symbiote had different plans. The sleek black suit came with a side of trouble and intensified his dark desires. Meanwhile, Peter decided to settle the score with rival photographer Eddie Brock, who had been cooking up pictures that painted Black Suit Spidey as a bad guy. Peter proved his plagiarism out of spite and got him fired. Finally, the realization dawned on him: the symbiote was corrupting him. He decided to eschew it, and this time for good. The symbiote then latched on to Eddie and became the entity Venom, one of Spidey's most formidable foes. Brock, now Venom, posed as a cabbie and captured Mary Jane as the bait to lure Spider-Man. Brock played a dirty game that led to Harry, Peter Parker's best bud, getting impaled with his glider. Peter remembered the symbiote's kryptonite sound and whipped up a makeshift sonic attack using metal pipes, which weakened Venom's powers and separated Brock from the clinging symbiote. He initiated a bomb and threw it at the symbiote to destroy it, but Brock, in his attempt to change it to Venom again, caused him to die with a symbiote.
I am Venom, and you are mine.
Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock was once a journalist until Spider-Man got him fired over a story Eddie did on Spider-Man's new black suit, where he depicted him as a not-so-friendly Spider-Man. His careers obviously took a nosedive, and he developed extreme hatred against our friendly neighborhood Spidey. However, Eddie lucked out with a chance encounter with a symbiote after it was rejected by Peter Parker. In the MCU, Eddie accidentally bonded with the alien symbiote while he was on a mission of uncovering a conspiracy. He began hearing a strange voice and was startled when the symbiote appeared right before him. Simply put, without Eddie, there would be no Venom. And weighing. Eddie Brock might be one of Spider-Man's most formidable villains, but someone very close to Eddie was also a symbiote host. One unimaginable partner in slime was Anne Weying, who was Eddie's wife, the first woman to take the persona of the She-Venom, aka the Bride of Venom. Their story took a drastic turn when Eddie's journalism career went under the bus over a false story, thanks to Spider-Man, and Anne decided to divorce him. But Anne's part was far from over. She bonded with a symbiote to survive a fatal gunshot and a group of thugs had been threatening her and Eddie. Anne, who was now a symbiote's host, violently reacted, and this was the start of Anne's end, or the way she knew herself. Things worsened for her when Eddie informed her that the symbiote didn't have the power to make its host do something they didn't actually want to, which meant that all the gruesome ideas were Anne's innate desires. It bonded again with her, and naturally Mrs. Weying became She-Venom again, but this time with a cannibalistic instinct. Anne, the Bride of Venom, feared the monster she became when the symbiote was activated, and thus returned it to Eddie and cut her ties with him. But her paranoia and the fear of the black suit returning got the best of her, which ultimately led to a tragic end where she took her own life. Anne also appeared in Venom 2018 and was played by Michelle Williams. It's a reference to She-Venom, where she briefly bonds with the symbiote to rescue Eddie. Patricia Robertson. Patricia Trish Robertson was a 24-year-old lieutenant and communications specialist within the U.S. Army who was stationed in the frozen tundra of Christmastown, which was no less than a hotbed of extraterrestrial chaos. Trish's world took a chilling turn when on a routine errand to the Ararat Corporation's lab, which was tasked with studying a clone of the infamous Venom symbiote, that she found the clone had escaped and gone rogue. The symbiote had massacred scientists and was a harbinger of chaos in Patricia's life. An alien entity called the Suit, claiming to kill the symbiote, entered, but the symbiote latched onto a sled dog and made a run for it. Trish found herself caught in a tug-of-war between the Suit and a clone symbiote on a rampage. Later, Trish was captured by agents of Ararat Corporation. Poor Trish couldn't seem to catch a break. The symbiote then latched onto Trish and killed the Suit. Later, Trish, then as Venom, was on a mission to take down the original Venom, who had an apocalyptic agenda, wiping out the human race. In New York, the action heated up as Trish, who was in a Venom-induced frenzy, clashed with S.H.I.E.L.D., Spider-Man, and of course, the real Venom, Eddie Brock. Amidst the chaos, Trish learned some hard truths about the symbiote. The clone she was latched onto was the clone of the original Venom symbiote, which was engineered to merge with the original symbiote and destroy the world as we know it. The Fantastic Four then captured her to lure the original Venom into the trap. Patricia was rescued by the Suit and decided to kill Eddie, but the clone left Robertson and merged with the original Venom symbiote and returned to Eddie.
Let's wash that down with some missiles!
Flash Thompson. Initially a bully of our beloved Peter Parker, Eugene Thompson, aka Flash, bonded to the Venom symbiote after losing both his legs in Iraq on a mission, and then served as Agent Venom and worked for the US government on Project Rebirth 2.0. Flash now had powers comparable to Spider-Man. Flash managed to keep the symbiote under control with drugs and frequent decouplings while using its powers to grow new legs. As Agent Venom, who was sent on various missions, but Flash had to sever his bond with a Venom symbiote every 48 hours or it would gain control over him, causing him to lose himself to it. This was seen when Flash went hysterical and mercilessly butchered a group of enemies. Flash then joined the Avengers and later the Guardians of the Galaxy to represent them on the team. However, Flash left his symbiote with a trusted ally to keep it safe. Malekith. In the chaos of Malekith's War of the Realms, the sneaky dark elf pulled a mystical stunt by forcefully bonding with a Venom symbiote. He then summoned All Black, the first ever symbiote created by the symbiote god Null, wielding it in its mighty Necro Sword form. The Marvel Universe had to throw everything they had, which also included multiple Thors from different ages, to stop Malekith's rampage. But it was all futile. Malekith's dark sorcery didn't only level up Venom's shape-shifting game, but it also turned into a one symbiote army possessing legions of his soldiers. Malekith realized that if he could kill the younger Thor, the present and the future Thor would automatically be wiped out of his existence. But Thor managed to separate Malekith from the symbiote, who met his demise at the hands of his own tigers. Guardians of the Galaxy. Three of the most beloved members of the Guardians of the Galaxy had the thrilling but turbulent experience of hosting the infamous Venom symbiote. Flash Thompson decided to take highly violent and unstable Venom on a space adventure with Star-Lord and a crew. Flash discovered that it needed to be recalibrated on its home planet of Clintar to effectively reboot its consciousness. But before they could reach Clintar, the symbiote escaped from its containment tank and latched onto Groot, our very adorable tree monster. Drax, who was neither subtle in his appearance nor his actions, took down Groot. In a textbook case of Guardians being Guardians, who were not known for their foresight, assumed the symbiote would just stroll back to Flash after its shenanigans, but it promptly bonded first with Rocket and then Drax. After a series of twists and turns, the symbiote finally found its way back to its long-lost home planet. Bruce Banner. The Venom symbiote, after a rocky relationship with Eddie Brock, decided to latch onto a stronger host, none other than Bruce Banner, and gave birth to the monstrous Venom Hulk. A dream the Marvel fans never dared to dream, a clash between two colossal titans, Venom Hulk and Carnage, a progeny of the Venom symbiote who was most often bonded to the sociopathic serial killer Cletus Cassidy. But the clash turned out to be a blink and you'll miss it letdown. Venom Hulk charged at Carnage only to face a swift defeat with a single punch. Carnage then forced the mighty Hulk to shrink back into Bruce Banner and was successful in breaking the connection. Venom returned to Eddie and the Hulk returned back to life. In the end, Venom's attempt to team up with his strongest Avenger led to a disappointing defeat, merely paving the way for Marvel's next big threat. Mac Gargan. Mac Gargan was a longtime Spider-Man foe as the Scorpion. He had the proportionate strength, speed, and all-around nasty disposition of Scorpion. The Venom symbiote was on a quest for the perfect host to settle its score with Spider-Man, and lo and behold, it locked eyes on Gargan. After obtaining the symbiote, Gargan's already impressive abilities were significantly enhanced, making him one of the most formidable hosts to ever bond with an alien entity. As time passed, his dependency on the symbiote and its incredible powers grew stronger. Although he had reservations about the symbiote's insatiable appetite for human flesh, he gradually succumbed to his own desires and transformed into a monstrous, superpowered cannibal that terrorized all in his path. Despite the chaos and destruction he caused during his time as Venom, his tenure as the deadly creature was cut short because sometimes even in the Marvel Universe, all good things must come to an end. Roberto Reyes. Roberto Reyes was just an ordinary guy until he played host to the spirit of his uncle Eli Morrow. Instead of succumbing to the darkness, he took the reins of these infernal powers and transformed into the Ghost Rider, a blazing superhero out to kick evil to the curb. However, his fate took a wild twist when he crossed paths with the Venom symbiote. What unfolded was a three-way war between the human, the demon, and the alien locked in a battle for control over their shared body, a struggle so intense that it threatened to rip Reyes apart. Tel-Kar. Tel-Kar was a Kree soldier handpicked to serve as a super soldier in the Kree-Skrull War. He underwent intense training, genetic tweaks, and cybernetic upgrades before he was bonded to a shape-shifting symbiotic creature from the Andromeda Galaxy. Tel-Kar was armed with the symbiote's shape-shifting skills and went all undercover to infiltrate the Skrull. But Tel-Kar stumbled upon the Skrull's grand scheme, a plague of doom that could wipe out entire species. Tel-Kar decided to save Kree refugees and went against his own people. To keep the symbiote out of enemy hands, he parted ways with it, leaving it in the care of a Kree officer with strict instructions. But little did he know, his symbiote would eventually end up on Earth, the infamous Venom. Tel-Kar briefly reclaimed the symbiote after breaking free, but it didn't remain his for long. Angelo Fortunato. After Eddie parted ways from the symbiote, it was purchased by Don Fortunato on the black market. Don's son, Angelo, bonded with the symbiote and to prove his mettle to his father decided to kill Spider-Man, but Angelo overestimated his potential. Fleeing from a fight with Spider-Man, the symbiote, citing a lack of courage in Fortunato Jr., abandoned him mid-leap between two skyscrapers, which eventually led to Angelo's grisly death. The Venom symbiote's journey has been tumultuous, marked by an array of hosts, each bringing their unique flavor to the final product. Eddie Brock, the original and most infamous host, hell-bent on a path to get his vengeance from Spider-Man, set the symbiote's whole saga in motion and made a formidable pair. Flash Thompson brought a military edge into the narrative, which turned the alien into a government weapon. Even Groot had a stint, courtesy of the Guardians of the Galaxy, yet the symbiote's ruthless and no-nonsense nature is evident in its brief alliances with lesser-known hosts like Angelo Fortunato and Tel-Kar, who were swiftly discarded when they couldn't meet its stringent criteria. So yeah, Venom is one of the coolest characters that Marvel has produced in its history. The dude can be a villain, an anti-hero, and a hero, and maybe all at the same time. About how many other characters can you say that for? If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.